What happens when you actually bring exposure to something that's going on in the darkness? When you expose something for what it is, you don't have to sit there and try to justify your means. What am I saying? Whenever I went to that school board meeting and completely exploded and pretty much shined light on the darkness that was hidden, you guys already know I don't care about any type of hate that I caught from black people or from white people, from anybody. I don't care what type of hate I caught from scholars, from beta males like Mark Lamont. Yeah, I would love to sit down and talk with you, man. Not on your show, like in an open discussion in front of other people, because your whole men have periods. No, bruh, no. Yeah. Anyway, folks, moving on. Yeah, because I caught a lot of apparently I got a lot of attention of a whole lot of folks that apparently don't like what I had to say. Now, people, I know some of you guys say they don't like me. Nobody can say that they don't like me if they don't know me. Just like I can't sit there and say I don't like somebody that I do not know. Right? So anyway, what I'm saying is this. When you shine light on darkness, all you have to do is leave the light right there. Let everybody that's seeing what's going on in the darkness, let them come up with their own, let them come up with their own decision of what it is that they're seeing. What are you saying, Ty? When I sat there and gave this speech and gave my talk at the school board meeting about CRT, y'all seen the videos. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have. You heard everything that I had to say, right? Some people came back. This dude obviously hasn't read critical race theory. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm Candace Owens' brother. I was placed there by the GOP. And again, I know you heard me say it a million times. I'm not a father. I'm not a husband. I don't have any degrees. I'm not a musician. I'm not a minister. I'm just a radio show host. That's it. I'm just trying to get some, what do they call it? Some, what's the word they use these days? Clout, whatever, for a YouTube channel that I've been having for 3 years. So anyway, that's a nice try to deflect from the truth that I'm pushing out there, but that's not going to work. People that follow the channel know I don't care. You can say what you want to about me. I do not care. Why? Only people that can offend me is those that I love. That's it. So anyway, moving on. Check this out. So now the different things that I talked about what critical race theory will do to children and to basically anyone that may let it actually become ingrained in them. Now they're just like, yep, this is what we want to teach. They're pretty much telling you this is what we want to teach. Don't take my word for it. Here it is right here. Largest U.S. teachers union vows to fight back against critical race theory critics. All right. It says the largest educators. And by the way, I'm getting this from off of New York Post. It says the largest educators union in the country has vowed to fight back against those opposed to teaching critical race theory in schools, reiterated its support of the controversial 1619 project. The National Education Association, which boasts 2.3 million members, recently passed a resolution claiming it is, in their words, it's reasonable and appropriate to include CRT in curriculum. They're not including it in a curriculum. This is only going to be taught in college level. They're not going to teach this in any grade schools. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Yeah, so anyway, and pledge to create a team of staffers to help teachers fight back against critical race theory rhetoric. Yeah, in other words, parents, the teachers are telling you we are going to fight back against what we want to teach your kids and what you don't feel your kids need to be taught. So pretty much screw what you got to say about your own child. Screw what you have to say about what you think your child should be taught when it comes to stuff like this. We're not talking about teaching a kid how to read. We're not teaching about teaching a kid how to count. We're not talking about teaching. We're not talking about teaching. I know I need to slow down. We're not talking about teaching a kid how to comprehend something that they read and be able to give you something back. Like if you read something and you comprehended it, you should be able to explain to the teacher what the meaning of it is. They're not teaching that. They want to teach this indoctrination of critical race theory. And the very thing that a lot of folks is, this dude hasn't read nothing. He's ignorant. He's this. Y'all know I don't care. But if I'm so ignorant, let them tell you what they want to teach and see if that had anything to do with what I was talking about, right? Because I know I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But yeah, I know I busted it wide open. I shedded the light on it. So right here, it says, and they pledge to create a team of staffers to help teachers fight back against anti-CRT rhetoric. It says to boost the effort, the NEA will work to publicize. You hear me? They will work to publicize an already created in-depth study that critiques white supremacy. Bam, there it is. White supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-indigeneity. I might have said that wrong. Check this word out. Anti-indigeneity. You can say that how you want to. Indigeneity. Like indigenous people. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. That's a. I'm not going to edit this. Try saying it 3 times. Okay. Anti-racism, anti-patriarchy, anti-capitalism, and other forms of power and oppression. What did I sit there and say in that speech? If I got these 2 degrees, how am I oppressed? What kept me from getting it? Some white people kept me from getting it. What oppressed me? So I know that. I know I busted it wide open. That's why they saying they did pretty much what they did. They tried to wait and let's see. Wait. Let everybody strike back against this guy. But they seen that it didn't budge me. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna come and debunk me? You gonna come and you gonna come on my job where I'm a director over folks that look just like the people in that room, like I mentioned? You gonna come and debunk that? No, you're going to come after me and try to say I'm not married. You can do that all you want to, but you are not going to stop the fact that I turned on the light and shined it on what y'all was doing in the darkness, what y'all was getting ready to do. And now people are like, they're not going to do that. That's just something. And even though there was a teacher at that school board meeting saying, we're not teaching that. They're telling you right here what they plan to do. So it's something that we do in the medical field that's called, some of us do, it's called preventative medicine. Preventative medicine means we try to give you tools to use. We try to give you strategies to abide by to keep you from coming and having to see the medical professionals. That's something called preventative medicines. So we give you these things to do. Stay doing these exercises. Stay with this particular diet. Make sure you get in this particular amount of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in your system to actually fight against your arthritis or possibly fight against your type 2 diabetes. Do these things right here so you don't have to come and see us as often. It's called preventative medicine. So what I did right there, I saw this thing coming. I saw it coming. And what I do, I shine the light on it. So what we trying to do? We trying to implement something called preventative racism. And the only difference is that it's going to be racism against white people. Yes, you heard me. Racism against white people. When you see things like anti-white supremacy, when they say things like it's going to critique, I'm sorry, went too fast. When they say they're going to do an in-depth study that critiques white supremacy, that critiques anti-blackness, that critiques anti-racism, the only thing that's going to draw up in your mind is a white person, period. That's it. Anti-racism. Who's supposed to be the racist people right now? White people. Anti-blackness. Who else going to be anti-blackness that's in America besides white people? I mean, you might have some other race, but you're not going to hear about that because that doesn't fit the narrative. White people fit the narrative. And then already critiques white supremacy. Boom. There it is right there. And then other forms of the power and oppression. Who's supposed to be oppressing black people? White people. Again, like I said, it's going to deliberately teach your children how to hate someone based on their race color, because that's exactly what that's going to do. When they go into debt like they claim they're going to do, an in-depth study, when they actually start to bring out different forms of what they may want to throw on your child or what white people are doing to black people, I'm pretty sure your black child is going to sit there and think to themselves, I'm glad I'm aware of this right now. I'm so glad I'm aware of this. No, they're going to begin to look at their co-students, whatever you want to call them, the students in the classroom. They're going to begin to look at them in a different light now. All of a sudden, they're going to look at them as if they're the enemy. Who do they think they are? I'm telling you, I know what they're trying to do to these kids' psyche, because they try to pretty much do the same thing to us when we were younger too, but not in this particular fashion though, but pretty much the same thing. So it says, we oppose attempts to ban critical race theory and or the 1619 Project, the NEA said. They tell now that we supposed to light on them, the enemy is just like, yeah, we doing that. Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, they make me, when you shine the light on it, what else can you do? You know what I mean? Like I can only just relate certain things. And when I stayed in the projects in the hood, when you turn the light on, the roaches just scattered. So when you turn lights on, if you see a bunch of roaches scattered, there's gonna be some people like, well, no, those are not roaches. Those are creatures that survived the atomic bomb. And although they weren't scattering, they actually, their mom rang the doorbell and they all knew to run home. Get out of here. Everybody's going to look at it and say, no, when the lights come on, the roaches ran. We all saw it, dude. The roaches ran. So, but let's discredit him. Why'd you turn on the light? Well, what credentials give you the right to flick a light on? Do you have your degree in flicker lightology? Yeah, I know I'm burning them up. Anyway, it says CRT asserts that racism is not about individual bias, but systemic in society and government policies and institutions, including the legal system. CRT, critical race theory, asserts that racism is not just about individual bias, but systemic in society and government policies and institutions, including the legal system. The 1619 Project refers to efforts to focus on when the first African slaves arrived in America and their contributions to the country. Yes, yes, yes. But let's take a deeper dive into this whole thing right here. You notice that they say CRT asserts that racism is not just about individual bias, but systemic in society and government policies and institutions. I'm completely unbiased when it comes to somebody wanting to show me the truth. Again, the ones that look at me that want to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, can y'all please give me some literature? Give me a place that I can go. Give me the law system. Give me the government building, wherever it is that I can go, that absolutely 100% have these in there. I want to go to the building and talk to the white man or the white systemic governors that be, whoever are part of this whole thing, the entities that are there. I would like to talk to them so they can tell me that this stuff do. Well, they're not going to just tell you that, but then y'all do know it exists. I want to go there and see this stuff for myself. I want to see it firsthand. Can y'all point it out to me since it does exist? It said the 1619 Project refers to efforts to focus on when the first African slaves arrived in America and their contributions to the country. No, let's not start there. Let's not start when the first African American slaves, whatever. Let's not start when the first, I'm slowing down. Let's not start in 1619. The project refers to efforts to focus on when the first African slaves arrived to America. No, let's not focus on that. Let's go further than that. Let's focus on why they ended up in America. Notice it says when they first, no, let's not talk about when Africans arrived. Let's talk about how they arrived. Huh? Since everybody want to be on this huge kick, let's just teach the true history. Yeah, let's teach the true history. You want to teach the real true history of slavery? You want to talk about how slavery was an institutionalized worldwide thing that was going on across all the globe? Like China had one. Yeah, Africans had one. This slavery was absolutely everywhere. And what happened? What happened? Slavery was a norm. It wasn't even, slavery wasn't even a thing that was thought twice of. It was just something that was a part of everyday life. Everybody had slaves. Each society was enslaved by their own color, period. That's it. But they don't want to go there, do you? You want to go there. Western society was the first civilization to turn against slavery. Did you know that? Did you know that? So no, see, that's what I'm saying. Don't just sit there and try to put my focus on when the first Africans arrived. Let us know how they got there. What caused them? Who, what, when, where, how come? Remember that? Black folks, there's a 90% chance that the reason why black folks came over here to the Americas is because you were sold by other black people. They're not going to tell you that. Well, no, you go. No. We're not going to start at 1619 to focus on when slaves got here and then what started happening to them. Talk about how they got there. Talk about how they got there. Don't want to do that, huh? During the age of imperialism, powerful military fighting made this possible for black people to actually start to get to a point to where they were getting ready to abolish it. This is from Thomas Sowell, by the way. Great man. Wish this man was my grandfather. Love his reading. Love the dude's mind. Look him up. The image of white people having black slaves is what is tattooed in people's brain. And I talk about this all the time. The minute you hear about slavery, it seems like the only thing we make it seem like we're just something special, that slavery only includes black people being enslaved by white people. But it was going on across the whole globe. The image seems to be the driving force they use to tell blacks that who they are today and the current conditions they may be in is a result of whites having slaves. Slavery was never based on race. Whites and blacks were also slaves. The word slaves derives from the word Slavs, who were European and were enslaved for centuries before any African was brought over to the Western world. You want me to repeat that again? The word slaves derives from the word Slavs, and it came from a European era where their European people were enslaved. White people were enslaved before any Africans were brought over to the Western world. Most slaves consisted of the same exact race as the enslaver. Before you was a slave to a white man, black people in America, you were a slave to black folks over in Africa that sold you to the white folks. It was a money making freaking money pot. I don't even know what the word I was looking for. Just huge. Slavery and human trade was a huge money worldwide global phenomenon that was going on, and it was money, and it all came down to money. It was never about your color. White slaves were still being bought and sold in the Islamic world decades after blacks were freed in America. So black people, you hear that? We weren't the only ones that were enslaved. I know I was part of this thing too, where I thought whenever I got taught about slavery, it only focused on black and white people. Why did it never focus on and let us know that this was going on worldwide with every race being enslaved by its own race? Huh? See, now because if they do that, it doesn't make you that special, do it? Huh? It doesn't make you that special, because when you put everybody in it, all of a sudden, what makes us stand out now? Well, because no. When a blacks, you look, if you want to go ahead and go after Thomas Sowell, one of the world's most phenomenal economists that ever grazed this earth and still is on this earth and still sharp in the mind, go ahead and do it, because his statistics will blow you out the water. You might as well don't even do it. You ice skating uphill with Thomas Sowell. You're going to ice skate uphill. So again, most slaves consisted of the same exact race as the enslaver. White slaves were still being bought and sold in the Islamic world decades after blacks were freed in America. Where's their rising up? Are they going to get their reparations? Let's see how that all goes. Now, slavery that's taught in America specifically filtered in a way that make it seem like it only happened in America. Slavery taught in America seems to only focus on white men enslaving blacks, Africans. More slaves were in India than in the entire Western Hemisphere. Again, more slaves were in India than in the entire Western Hemisphere. China had one of the largest and most comprehensive markets for exchange of humans in the world. English philosopher and political economist John Stuart Mill said almost every people now civilized have consisted in majority slaves. And here's a side thought. If you were sold into sex trafficking by your parents, do you blame the sex trafficker or do you blame your parent? Folks, I've known the people I grew up with in the hood had a single parent. And Tyler Perry used it in one of his movies, but we knew about stuff that happened like this. She would sit there and to get some extra money when her daughter became of a certain age, whatever like that. You sat there and pimped your daughter out. Now, do you blame the ones that were actually, well, you can't blame them too, but who do you blame mostly? If you sat there and you sell your children into sex trafficking, do you blame the parent or do you blame the one that's actually trafficking you? Huh? Who do you blame? Well, it's a combination of both. No, see, that's the thing. You don't want to face the truth of that. Who sold black folks into slavery? Other black folks. So why are you blaming white folks for just pretty much doing what they always done in this market of human trading, buying humans? They didn't just buy black people. Why we make it seem like they only bought black people? They bought everybody. If you were of the elite then and had a ton of money, you had money to buy people to come and do free labor for you. And again, do you remember what I just said? Centuries after blacks were freed in America, it was still going over in the Islamic world. People were still being enslaved. Okay. So, racism, and you think about it, racism itself, slavery never was about a color. Slavery was about money, period. Slavery was about money. So how is it that all of a sudden when you think about slavery in America, if you talk to any normal kid in America and say, what do you know about slavery? Oh, it's when the white people got the black people. Wait, how come we not going that far back in history if we really want to know the history? Why isn't that part of history being taught in school? Huh? Ask your question. Ask that. Teachers, how come you guys are not teaching that in school? Oh, because they give us a curriculum and told us to only focus on. I know that. Why do they want you to only focus on when blacks arrived in America? Because then you're going to talk about the terror of what black people face. It's going to be the same regurgitated thing over and over again. But what about if, like me, I would have my nieces and nephews challenge y'all all day long. Like, wait a minute. I know we're going to talk about when we arrived here, but how did we get over here? Oh, you guys got over here on some boats. But how did we get on the boats? Well, white people came and stole y'all from y'all country, took y'all from y'all mothers and from y'all family. Wait, so Africa is a country that got like the biggest country of black people in, and you tell me a few white men on some boats with some muskets just came and took us? No, tell them the truth. Since y'all all tomorrow, we need to teach the truth of America. America's biggest sin. It's just not America's biggest sin. If it's America's biggest sin, it's the whole world's biggest sin to enslave somebody like that, period. See, there now all of a sudden it takes that whole little thing off. Now, black folks, we ain't all that special, are we? Now, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now that we're not all that special? Knowing that we're not the only ones that were enslaved. Oh, are our white Americans, European Americans, Irish Americans, Jewish Americans, are they not just as important as we are? Yeah, but there's systems in place that what systems? Again, I do not care how much people try to downplay me. I don't care how much y'all try to talk about me, how you try to bash me. I am a person very visual. Show me where it's at. Show me the systemic thing. When it all comes down to it, it's going to come down to what it was back in the slave day. It's about money. The reason why I have the job that I have right now is because I am making my company money. The strategies that I use, the things that I was taught by the person that hired me, these strategies is what actually help makes our company money. Now, different ideas that I bring into it that can actually bring our company more money, those are the type of things that they're looking for. They can care less about the color of me. All they know is when we hire Ty on, we want to know, how is this kid's mind? How is this guy's mind? We need some fresh new ideas. And this guy seems to have a whole lot of fresh ideas and how we can bring more, more money to our company. So that's why we hired him. If my boss told me she hired me only because they wanted some diversity in the company and only because she had to hire me because I was black, I will quit. Mark my word, I will quit my job and go look for something somewhere else. Because if you did not hire me for my skills and what I bring to the table, I don't want to be there. But I don't have to say that. You want to know why? Because when I applied for different jobs as a director over a healthcare facility, guess what? One person told me, well, you know what? You got about a good 8 years of experience there. And we see all the great things that you're doing right there, but just get a little bit more, managerial type things under your belt. Get about another year or so on there. And then if we got something open within the next year or something, come back and talk to us. Okay. That's what I did. I went back to the drawing board. Let me get some more of this under my belt. Let me get some more financial, booking under my belt. Let me get some more managing certain type of, clinicians to come in to actually do certain type of techniques on patients that can actually bring in more revenue. You know what I mean? Let me do that. And I came back. Guess what? I was qualified for 4 different types of jobs in this particular thing that I'm doing right now. It came down to it being about money. So anyway, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but, and let me finish reading this. This says to deny opportunities to teach truth about black, brown, and marginalized races minimalizes the necessity for students to build efficacy. The NEA said, the ancient African proverb says, know thyself. Yeah, know yourself well enough to know that our people, black people, Africans, sold you to white people. White people sold white people to white people. It's in the books. It's in history. What do you mean? Like Morgan Freeman said, well, you're going to relegate my history to just a month? You know, do you want a white history month? Do you want a Jewish history month? Well, I don't want one either. What happened during the slave trade is a part of American history, period. And it wasn't just black people that were enslaved over here. No. So this says, it is reasonable and appropriate for curriculum to be informed by academic frameworks for understanding and interpreting the impact of the past on current society, including critical race theory, the union said. Let me tell you guys something. When critical race theory first came into play here, people like at this meeting that I was at, the school board meeting, they all said it's about, this started in like the 1960s, the 1950s, and they had all kind of dates. They had some said the 60s, some said the 70s, some said the 80s. I got like 8 different names. I got like 6 different versions. So I said, this is almost like a Bible. Y'all got New International Version. Y'all got the International Version. Y'all got the King James Version, the New International King James Version, the New King James Version, the Hebrew Greek Version. You got the Hood Version. You got the Ebonics Version. Y'all got all these different versions of critical race theory, but it does not matter when it all comes down to it. When I see things like equity in there, I keep seeing the word equity. I keep seeing inequality. I keep seeing things like systems in place or systemic racism or institutionalized racism there to benefit white men. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just straight rooted in Marxists. That's what it is. It's rooted in Marxists. Well, that's not true. It's not rooted in Marxists. It's rooted in Marxists. If you are taught a curriculum in school and you see things in there that say things like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, knowest thou not that I love thee? You shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. Abide in me and I will abide in you. You will start to say, wait a minute, that sounds like Bible. Well, no. It's not religion. It's not, no. It may not be what you're saying is religion, but those quotes and things that you're saying right there, that's Bible. So when you hear a bunch of words like that that's being thrown from the teachings of Karl Marx, and you see that Marxism is in there, you can put any name you want to on it. You want to. You can. At first, it was called critical legal studies. Now it's evolved into critical race theory, and now it's gonna be something else under the umbrella. But when I see those words that stand out like that, I'm saying it's Marxism. That's not true. That's not true. Oh no. Let's keep on reading on right here. The organization. Remember this student teachers union. Let me make sure because I know I'm flying. I'm sorry. It just comes out. Largest U.S. teachers union, right? It says that it is the organization added that it will join with Black Lives Matter. That should just stop you right there. It's over. It's a wrap. It said the organization added that it will join with Black Lives Matter at school campaign to treat October 14th, George Floyd's birthday, as a day of action to teach lessons about structural racism and oppression, using George Floyd as that. So screw what they did during the civil rights movement. Screw that. You know what I'm saying? Screw that. These were our so-called ancestors and our great-great-great-grandfathers and great-great-great-grandmothers. Screw what they were fighting for. When they were literally fighting for the vote, fighting for equal rights during the civil rights movement, fighting for desegregation, when they were fighting for that, screw all that, because we're going to use a thug and a lifelong criminal as our new hero what? Black people, you would be a complete idiot to want to model your child after George Floyd as if he's some hero. He didn't do anything remotely close, not even a tenth of an inch. He didn't do nothing close to what Martin Luther King did at all. Nothing even close. And yet you're going to give this I wish you, not me. I'd be like, my child won't be participating in that, and you better not tell my child he's have to. Period. My child will be having that day off in school. So again, the organization added it will join with Black Lives Matter. That should boom at the school campaign to treat October 14th, George Floyd's birthday, as a day of action to teach lessons about structural racism and oppression. Again, what is it going to do? If you talk about George Floyd, you're going to show your kids the image of the police officer being on George Floyd's shoulder/neck area. And what is it going to do? You think a kid going to look at that and just say, I love cops. I love white. Not only that, your kid going to look at that and say, that's a white cops are just bad. And then with everything that's going on in the news right now, how y'all keep on showing, they keep showing just white cops always doing something bad to black people as if it don't happen to white people. What type of conclusion you think those kids are going to drop in their minds? Huh? This is purposely done, folks. Parents, it is completely up to you to make sure that this ideology does not stick in your child's head. And again, if it was me, I would have a big problem with that. I would be going to school on that day. My child going to sit out during that time. You better send home some permission slips telling me that my child gonna participate in anything with Black Lives Matter, to be doing anything to make a criminal seem like he's done something good. Please. There's no way. There is no way. It says to bolster the campaign, NEA President Becky Pringle says will make public statements across all lines of media that support racial honesty in education, including but not limited to critical race theory, the group said. Support racial honesty. Racial honesty. You got black people You talking about racial honesty. You got somebody that grew up around this stuff. Not just me, but a lot of people that grew up around this stuff that can sit there and tell you what our issue is. But y'all gonna sit there and tell us that it's not. See there, to me, that is almost a form of racism itself, because you think that we just too ignorant that we can't figure out what's wrong with us. We too stupid and dumb, and we just don't know what's wrong with our race. You know, we don't know. We need y'all white folks to tell us and lead us the way, because y'all should know us a whole lot better than what we do. We knows not what to do with ourselves. We know we don't know what's wrong with us. So please, white folks, can you please keep on leading us? It's almost like y'all don't even understand the psychiatric layers, what they're trying to do to your mind when it comes to this. I see it clear as day. They are literally exerting their own form of racism on you by trying to tell you everything. Look, oh, we got your back. Racist. Look at these white people. Racist. Aren't you white? Well, I know what we can do. Let's pay off some black people to push this for us. And black people who gonna do things for money and for gain, they'll do it because we put a black face on there. It'd be more profitable for the black people to believe that black person up there saying it, especially if the black person say a whole bunch of big old words that sound good. So a person say, well, with them big old words they're using, that must be right what they talking about. They said this right here. They will make public statements across all lines of media. We know what the media are going to let them just say anything they want to make it seem like this stuff is right. That support racial honesty in education. What's the real racial honesty in education? How are our black children doing in school right now? Even with all this stuff that's being taught, how are the black children increasing? Are they doing a whole lot better? Will this actually make them a lot better? No, it's not. They know exactly what they're doing, folks. They know exactly racial honesty. Talk about the real racial honesty with blacks. What is the real racial honesty? Us not having the fathers in the home, us killing each other, us being pretty much encouraged to kill our babies, us being encouraged to have a bunch of hoes and tricks from our culture, music and all that, encouraged to be highly sexualized, having sex early, to twerk. Yeah, you seen all that? I don't know if there's videos out there, I would like to see it. But what we seen in Chicago, where somebody had just got shot, the ambulance loading the dude up, getting ready to put him in the back of the paramedics vehicle, and you see people twerking, grinding on the ambulance. Yeah. What we see as a result is exactly what they're pushing right there. Just a bunch of kids that don't know how to think at all. Just respond, stimulus, just uncontrolled. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they want. It says parents have clashed with school boards across the country in recent months over the role of racially focused materials in classrooms, because that's exactly what it does. If you keep a person focused on nothing more than race, then it's going to be racism. Period. I'm going to leave you all with something and tell me if this is not true, because I find this very, very, very interesting. And this is an awesome quote by the great Booker T. Booker T says, there is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Negro race before the public, huh? Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles. They learned that they can make a living out of their troubles. They have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievance because they do not want to lose their jobs. And I said that before. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, them served their purpose during the civil rights movement, but they do not show up unless it's something that actually can be related to what they feel that looks like something that happened during the civil rights movement. Otherwise, they're irrelevant. There's no need for them no more. You know what I mean? Who are going to be the current ones for this push right now? That now we got it to where white people are actually going to be the ones as everything is being reversed. White people are going to be the ones that's actually about to have racism coming at them. And white folks, some of the ones that you want to virtue signal, you have no idea that you don't even see it coming. You want to sit up there and all the black people, we with them. What you going to do when the ones that don't even know you that well from whatever, what you going to do when they turn on you? What you going to do? Because it's going to happen. It is going to happen. You're going to be somewhere and something might happen, whatever like that. A black person might check you on that. What you got to say about this white dude or white woman? What you got to say? What you talking about? Give me what you going to do? Well, I'm supporting you guys. You know, I say, I don't care about no Black Lives Matter stuff. Give me your this. Give me what you going to do? You see what I'm saying? This virtue signaling is not going to help you. Because if they get black people to start to hate white people, even if you are for black people, I'm marching with black people, they ain't going to care. You look just like the rest of them. So what do you got to offer? But your virtue signal is not going to save you. So I'm telling you, you might as well hang it up. And so anyway, you saw that Booker T. Washington said this. Booker T. Washington made a phenomenal statement. And this was during the time where this stuff was actually able to be, it was legal. It was legal to be like that. It was legal to be racist. It was legal to have this crazy stuff going on. And yet you still had him sitting there saying it again. You want me to read it again for y'all? There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. That's what's going on now. Just a repeat. If we don't know about our history, then we are doomed to repeat it. Well, apparently you don't know about the history. Because if you did, how is it being repeated right now? Huh? Told you they don't want the real history taught in school, man. They don't want the real histories taught in school. You don't want that. Let me read this rest of this, folks. I'm going to start over again. I won't interrupt again. I promise. There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into and settled into the habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. All about money. Why do you think the Black Lives Matter leader just dipped? Job was going to be lost. They knew they was going to start to trickle down. Riding that wave while it's up there. It's just like stocks and bonds. Right there, like a covered call. You know that when it gets close to a certain period of time, the stock is going to go up. But you do know once it kind of plateaus out a little bit, go ahead and pull out before it drops back down so you can actually sit there and make your profit. Why do you think she bailed? Well, I think I served my purpose. No. She's a trained Marxist take. So y'all shouldn't be surprised that she took. You should not be surprised. But it's just amazing to me that he said this back during a time where it was actually lawful to be discriminative. It was lawful to be racist. It was actually institutionalized racism things going on at that time. And yet he still was able to come up to that conclusion right there. Yes, I absolutely love this, folks. So anyway, let me know what y'all think. I know I said a lot. I know I was talking real fast. I didn't expect to go this long, but I did. So leave it in the comments below after this video, folks. We're keeping this thing going. Parents, it's up to y'all. You better fight back because these teachers are pretty much saying, screw what y'all saying. We're going to teach your child this anyway. What are you going to do about it? And that's what I'm saying to you. What are you going to do about it? I'm Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I hope and pray every last one of you guys are in great health. God bless you through Jesus. What is going on, folks? Appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor. If you're trying to get to the next reaction video that I did after this video, it's right here. But if you're trying to get to my own personal stuff where I do a lot of comedy things that make you laugh, can help brighten your day, then you click right here, all right? And if you want to subscribe to this channel, you forgot to get to know who I am first, all right? Then you're going to click right here to lead you into the subscription. Make sure you hit the bell notifications to get notified anytime I post a video, all right? Peace.